Hello people, this is Luke. My nickname is Profection. I'm going to start doing videos discussing a lot of things, events in my life, things covering things like mental health, mental illness, because there has been kind of tragedy that's happened in my life. Not only my family, but also other families around me involving mental health. And I think that the subject is still taboo and it really needs to kind of be talked about. So that's one of the things that I'll be going into. And I'll be going into other things like MGTOW. I'll be going into things like NoFap. I'll be going into things like addiction. Yeah, so I'll be covering a lot of subjects. But the first thing I want to cover is a lot of people ask me, you called yourself Profection, like you've got your name Profection on YouTube, Profection on Facebook. So what does this Profection thing mean? Profection was a philosophy that I created in 2005 after I myself experienced mental health, and I was going through, I was going through a rough patch really, and I felt a bit lonely and isolated, and I didn't feel as though I could really talk to my family and my friends about it. So I went onto the internet and I was in forums and I was talking with the people there, and then that kind of led me to a site, and I went to that site, and this site had this kind of good idea with the story, kind of like a story, and I kind of took certain parts of that and I created my own site. And the title of the site was "Why Must Tears Come with Profection?" But again, it was a site that kind of was a bit of a mystery site. I mean, you had to read it in order to kind of gather the full picture of why the title was there, why I named myself this and that. But one thing I did have on the site was an explanation of it. I mean, this is going back a good 12 years ago. So I'll give people an explanation of what Profection meant. So this was at the top of the site that I wrote at the time, and I still believe it. I still live by it. So I'm going to read it out to you. Okay. So it says, right. So this is what I wrote at the time. Not perfection, because some people keep calling me Perfection. Okay, I'm not the Son of God. I've never claimed to be the Son of God. That would be blasphemy. And all kinds of things. Yeah, it comes under a lot of things under the Bible. I'm not a Bible basher, so I'm not here to, read Bible scriptures to you. Not perfection. I am in no ways perfect. If power was measured in hardship, those who remain humble through whatever negativity life throws at them are the strongest. However, how each chooses to deal with the matter determines whether they can be labelled as perfectionists. Perfection is striving for perfection within yourself. However, each level of perfection is different to each individual based on each individual's personal struggles. To admit your flaws and continuously heighten your strength is perfection. To accept the hand that God has dealt you, but at the same time maintain peace and equality no matter the hardships, is perfection. And then I went on to say a deeper explanation. Since my early teens, I realized, like acting out a character, being a secret agent, or being a simple con artist, you can put on a false image of yourself in order to fit in, better yourself, or gain respect. But if you continue to prolong the fake image, the new one, without notice, will automatically replace the old one, like preparing yourself for an early start to a physical job where you also have to change your dress code and eating habits. If you were to wake up tomorrow and adhere to perfection, you would see no need for swearing unless it was beyond your will, although you would feel remorse each and every time you did it. You would devote more time to proper causes rather than accepting what is and losing yourself to a world that is spiraling out of control. You would try to do as many good deeds as possible, and soon positivity would become a drug to you. your eyes will open up and you will see the world for what it truly is and where it is going, and you will not want to be a part of any of it. But there is no hate in the word perfection, so don't ever get it twisted. I am merely here to have a laugh and share my philosophies with people. If I offend, then I will give you my apology. It's all good. I only hope that the positive messages in my posts are the things that stay with people rather than the negatives. Peace. So that's what I wrote 12 years ago, and I kind of still live by it. I've only read that for the first time today. The last time I read it would probably be about 7 years ago, but I still live by those kind of, that moral code in a sense. And yeah, so this is like an introduction into the future videos that I'm going to do. So it's just explaining to you what the whole perfection thing is about, so when you hear it, you know. And again, going back to the title of the site at the time, why must tears come with perfection, it shows you when you adhere to that kind of philosophy there, life will throw all kinds of challenges at you. I watched a movie the other day, I think it was The Panther, and the only decent part, according to how I viewed the movie anyway, in the movie, was when he died and his father came to him in a dream and said to him, right, you are choosing to do good, son. Many will come for you. You know, a lot of the times when you choose to try to live a good life, a lot of people will you'll find a lot of people will kind of almost show a bit of kind of, maybe, I don't know, envy, jealousy, or whatever you want to call it, but life ends up being slightly more awkward than what you think it would, and then you start to kind of realize things. But before we get into those to my other videos, the last thing I want to say was about 4 months ago, maybe 5 months ago, I was on YouTube and I was searching for witches. You know, I don't know why I was searching for it. In fact, it would have been longer now. It would have probably been about 2 years ago. I was searching for witches, and this pastor came up talking about women, okay, and he was talking about like seduction, how women were able to seduce men, and so, you know, and he went into things like J.K. Rowling and the Harry Potter books, and how in the books, like how the idea came to her in a dream, and she woke up in the morning and wrote it down, and then, you know, the books came on to be successful. She was a billionaire, and some of the influences, like, you know, witchcraft and things like that, and how it became so popular with children. And then he started going into certain aspects of tarot reading, but I'm not going to go into all of that. But the main important thing was that towards the end of the book, towards the end of towards the end of what he was preaching, the final note that he gave wasn't so much on women. It wasn't, oh, women will seduce you and women will take advantage of you and all of that. It wasn't about all of that. The final thing that he said was that, you know, according to how he saw things, was that the Bible preaches the word of God, which is the truth. Therefore, anyone that doesn't preach those words is a witch. So there's me going on there kind of, you know, it was all about women to begin with and everything else, but the final message is really saying, whoever doesn't choose to preach the word of God is a witch, because in a sense you're preaching stuff that's kind of taking you away from the Bible. You know, I'm not here to persuade you or influence you. Everything that I say to you really is just food for thought, and that's the main thing that I want you to take from this. Whatever I'm saying is food for thought. You watch the video, you might talk about it, you might not, but it's just food for thought. You know, it's not a case where I influence you to do this or I influence you to do that. It's nothing. It's an episode of EastEnders, and that's the main important thing. But anyway, that's enough for my first video, and I hope to see you guys in the next videos. Alright, peace.